Hello. Hello, this is the My Artifact episode number 3507. Today's date is 28th of July 2025. It's been almost like a morning at 7:57 a.m. Alright, yesterday was a really unproductive day. Yesterday, I haven't really done my design, I haven't really did my app development course. Yesterday was complete day off. I don't want to be kind of like a day off, but what exactly happened yesterday? Okay, yesterday after I record artifact, like same as I record artifact in the morning, record a artifact. Then what I did is that I have some wash my clothes, clean up some sort of house, mop the floor. Then there is some sort of random guy who came and I have to kind of like sit in front of him and kind of like talk to him. I don't want to, but just like I don't really have any option. Then basically then after that I showered, okay, took the lunch, and after the lunch I didn't really did any kind of like some brain games. Like I usually play brain games for kind of like something. I don't know why I just playing those games. Also I decided to read a 1 hour every single day. So because of all while I was doing this thing, it's been almost like a 4 p.m. Yeah, and I haven't really done any kind of like assembly work. After the 4 p.m., I went to hospital to see my relatives and stuff like that. I came at almost like a 6:30. Okay, yeah. Soon as I came, then I went to workout. I came after workout at almost like a 9:30 p.m. And then when I came, after I ate my dinner, and then just like hardly just 1 or 2 hour. In this 1 or 2 hour, I complete my book, and I haven't really done any kind of like some design and stuff like that. It's just like a really unproductive day. Oh yeah, it's not really unproductive day. It's a kind of like a things that the plan that you decided I haven't really worked on. Okay, there are multiple factors are involved, which are kind of like consume lot of amount of time. First of all is that the guy who actually came at your home and you have to sit in front of him and talk to him and things about this and that and that and that usual stuff. I don't want to, but it's just like that. This is my family relatives, and so yeah, I spent time over there. It's been so yeah, it took me almost like a 1 hour over there. Then I clean up my house, okay, yeah, mop the floor and things like that. Okay, then after that I went to the hospital. So basically, yeah, because those are kind of like a some reason that kind of like a something um for I don't know, yeah, whatever, yeah. Try not to make this day as yesterday. All right, so let's just ask bunch of questions and all right, yeah. Okay, question is, seeing competitor make more money seeing competitor makes more money makes you feel happy, inspired, or positive? Oh, that is something really very good question. Okay, yeah. Okay, I just have to sit and then I kind of like talk about that stuff. First of all, this. Okay. Okay, so what exactly is this stuff? What exactly this question is actually telling me? Okay, yeah. The question is actually telling me that seeing your competitor is actually making more money. How does it feel? Like happy, inspired, positive? Your competitor. Yeah. First of all, do you have any kind of like competitor? I don't have any competitor probably at the moment. Okay, yeah. In the future, will you have any kind of like a some competitor? Um, I I don't know. Yeah, in my past life, Do I have any kind of like a competitor? Uh, no, I don't have any competitor. Like basically, I'm kind of like being really honest and seriously, is this thing that I really don't have any kind of like a something competitor. What is exactly competitor? A competitor means like that ki, um, because of his growth, you are kind of like consider yourself as a kind of like a something that left behind or back or I don't know. Yeah, that is like like I'm very competitive, by the way. Okay, yeah, I'm very competitive while playing badminton, playing all those sports and things like that. Okay, but like regarding about career and growth and things like that, I never really have any kind of like some competitor. Well, do you have friends, na? Yeah. So, like, like, would you think that ki those are kind of like some competitor? Well, no, no. I definitely not consider my friend as a kind of like a, my competitor because like okay, yeah, okay, I have so many friends. Okay, if I'm kind of like a looking at from uh, practical point of perspective, so probably you're gonna see I have almost like a 9 to 10 friends. Okay, yeah, all of them are already have a job, all of them are almost married, almost, yeah, almost like a yeah, everyone is married, yeah. Subodh is actually getting married after 2 months, 2 3 months, but yeah, everyone is married. Okay, yeah, and they are earning money. Okay, yeah, and if I'm looking from them, I am not like, I don't really have any girlfriend, I don't really am not earning any money, I'm not really have any job. So probably you think that I'm a failure, so probably you can you can kind of like a say what you can think whatever you wanted to think. Okay, yeah, but I never really consider that my friend is a kind of like a simply competitor. No, nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. But I'm not being really honest by itself too. Like I also kind of like simply mentioned that ki, um, okay, yeah. So I got a job in as early as in my life, like in 24, at the age of 23 or 24. I'm not really sure. Maybe 23, maybe, yeah, yeah, 23, yes, 23. So at the age of 23, I got a job. Okay, yeah, in kind of like a something, some sort of power plant as a supervisor, maintenance supervisor. I'm not earning that much amount of money, but I have a job. Okay, at that time. Okay, then after that, I did some sort of courses in designing courses, and then I got kind of like a some designing job. Okay, which is kind of like they are giving me little bit more money. Okay, yeah, but what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that he when I try to this thing that he like when one of my friend who got a job. Okay, Vishal got a job. Okay, yeah, and Vishal got a job in a kind of like a something as a government job, government banking. He's a PO. Okay, yeah, his salary is almost like a 50,000 rupees, which is good. Yeah, all the friends who are got a job, they kind of like a get some sort of similar salaries, somewhat something. One of my friend Badal and Prashik, they got kind of like a something very big salary. Okay, yeah, almost like a 1 lakh rupees, 1,20,000 rupees. This like a when I heard that ki my friend is actually earning 1 lakh rupees per month, I feel jealous. Yeah, competition and jealous is literally something very different. Okay, yeah. A jealous means like that ki you are some sort of jealous about some sort of growth, and I am really accept that ki my friend is actually earning a kind of like a such a money that I never really expect that some person could kind of like earning money in that much that easily in that early in their life. Okay, yeah. So when I knew that ki my friend is actually earning 1 lakh rupees per month, then I feel little bit of jealous. Okay, yeah, but it's not really competitive. It's not really competition. It's not really competitor. Nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. like regarding about jealous now, so let's just like dude, let me explain. Okay, when you are being really jealous, you don't really feel that ki you have to be earn that much amount of money in your life. Yes, yeah, then that is called competition na. Yeah, but dude, it's like I'm not really consider life in a this way or that way. Like I don't really consider that ki it's a kind of like a simply a race that everyone should supposed to be run, and who get the first prize. No, it's not. And life is not exactly like that. Definitely not. And if you're thinking it like that, ki like it's a race and you have to win the race. I don't know. It's a kind of like a perspective. I don't really look the life in that way. Other people might be, they kind of like a look that ki life is kind of like a simply race and things are something like that. But I don't really look the life in that way. Okay, yeah. First thing is that ki I believe that ki if you are putting effort, and if you are kind of like putting all the effort in your life and things something like that, it will gonna paid off. Okay, it will gonna paid off. But also another thing is that ki uh, the value of the person doesn't really determine that ki how much money he has. Like basically the person who has so much amount of money, who is earning so much amount of money, that means that person has a so much amount of value. Yeah, like basically in family, in surrounding, in situation, that might be kind of like considered as a so much amount of value, because people are actually determining success through the money. Most of the people are. So yeah, but in reality things are very different, by the way. Very, very different. Okay, whatever. Regarding about the competition, regarding about competitor, I haven't really feel any kind of like a some person, a kind of like a thing that he is my competitor or he is his. No, definitely not. Okay, yeah. And I don't know, but I never really think in that way that ki like this is my competitor, and yeah, I have to be kind of like a somebody go ahead of his and that. No, because I know myself. Okay, yeah, that ki I born for something bigger. Okay, yeah. Maybe that's YouTube. Okay, yeah. Because for me, being a YouTuber is also kind of like a something a bigger thing. Okay, yeah. Or establish my business is also kind of like consider myself as a bigger thing. Like I always knew that I am a kind of like a something a bigger person. I don't know, and I'm actually feeling this thing since when I was child. I don't know. Yeah, but since when I was child, I was kind of like a thinking that way. Yeah, I'm kind of like a something much bigger person. But I don't know what exactly is that. Okay, yeah, and all I already knew. I always knew that that bigger thing. I will get that bigger thing. I'm not really sure what is that bigger thing, but I will get that bigger thing. Okay, yeah. Soon after life goes on, I realized that I wanted to be filmmaker. Then I realized that I can't be a filmmaker because I don't have money and resources and things like that. Then I decided that I will gonna be a YouTuber. And right now I am like it's not really considered that I am a YouTuber. I have almost like a 1500 subscriber. Nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. But one day I will have millions of subscriber and things like that. I'm gonna earn money. I wanted to establish my business. I wanted to establish my startup too. So I'm gonna do that thing. I also wanted to kind of like make my money, make my movie too, and I will gonna make my movie too. Definitely. I don't know when it happened or how this happened, but I know my instinct told me that I'm gonna do the things that I did, that I kind of like consider that I could do, and I will gonna do that thing. Okay, yeah. So probably what I'm trying to tell you is this thing na ki having some sort of competitor is actually kind of like something responsible for growth. Okay, yeah, and that is really for sure. Okay, yeah, because if you consider someone as a kind of like a only competitor, that means that that person grow, you will also grow, and it kind of like add your value and things like that. So having a competitor is really good for your growth and things like that, right? But is that king? I don't really consider that he is a kind of like a something like a competitor and things like that. But dude, how do you so sure about that thing? Okay, yeah, because basically in your entire period of lifetime, you haven't really lived the entire life. You just living at the right now your age is 31. Okay, yeah, and you are not consider that ki you are kind of like a living the entire life and things like that, because you haven't really seen the life now, you haven't really seen the people around and things, and that is a very very different thing, dude, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that ki in the future the people might be there who is kind of like a something you feel that ki they are kind of like a something competitor. So would you be kind of like a something that ki, like would you be kind of like a something that ki consider that this person as a competitor and things or something like that, like like would you, yeah, like would you kind of like a feel that person is a competitor or having some sort of competition? I don't know, yeah. Like basically, it's this thing na ki I wanted to accept ki having some sort of competitor is really good, is really responsible for your growth and things and something like that. It can add it some sort of values in everything. But my instincts are kind of like a telling me that ki I am not really affected that much if I have kind of like a something competitor and things like that. Okay, okay, yeah. You might not gonna understand me really well. Okay, yeah. You actually example that ki your friend is actually earning so much amount of money that you haven't really think that ki this much amount of money people will not gonna earn in as early as in your life, right? Like your friend Badal, right? Okay, so Badal is earning more money than you, that is true. Okay, that is true. Okay, the question is kind of like a telling me that ki seeing a competitor makes more money make you feel happy, inspired, positive, or what? Okay, yeah, it's actually talking about money now. So when your friend is earning more amount of money, would you feel that kind of like a something positive, inspired, or happy, or whatever it is? Do you feel like that way? We are talking about just the money now. Okay, yeah, just money. So regarding about money, yeah, did I feel something really something like that ki, like did I feel kind of like a something that happy when my friend is actually earning so much amount of money? Happy, do I feel really happy? No, I was not happy at that time. Okay, yeah, when I'm a bit really jealous, yeah. But uh, like basically this thing happy means like that, I'm not kind of like a consider myself as a kind of like a somebody something not happy is because of that, I'm not really earning money and he's earning so much amount of money. No, not really that well, not really in that category. I'm kind of like a somebody thinking that ki why are you not happy for him, like he's earning so much amount of money, so why are you not happy? it's some it's a kind of like a some jealousy probably. Okay, yeah, but that jealousy is not really meant to be kind of like a something diminishing him to kind of like a somebody earn little less amount of money. No, it's consider that ki I don't know how do I supposed to explain this thing. I feel jealous and I'm really accept that thing ki I feel jealous. Okay, and when I feel really jealous, I am not really happy at that time, but this is only a particular period of time, just a kind of like a couple of hours. Like basically, what is actually happened? That uh, he got a job and he started earning some sort of amount of money. I didn't really knew that. He didn't really mention anything about it. Okay, yeah. Then basically after a week, okay, yeah, he mentioned that now like one of my friend mentioned that he Badal got a job and he's earning this much amount of money, and I was like, oh, that is good, that is good. Like basically I got to know that he is earning that much amount of money from third person point of perspective, and that third person is kind of like a something exaggerated in very very bigger way. Like basically he mentioned that he is earning 1 lakh rupees per month, so probably we gonna spend this or that and that and that. Okay, yeah. So because of that third person is kind of like a something something like that ki explain this thing in a such a way that he is kind of like a somebody really far ahead of us, ahead of me or things like that. So that's why I feel little bit of jealous, but that little bit of jealous is feel for at least like just couple of hours. Okay, to kind of and basically this thing I am not really jealous in that way, but the important thing is that ki I didn't really knew that ki 1 lakh rupees salaries that person can also get too. Okay, yeah, like basically before that, I haven't really seen any kind of like a person who is kind of like earning 1 lakh rupees salary. Okay, yeah, this is the first time I'm kind of like a heard that ki the person that I know he's earning 1 lakh rupees salary. So probably this is the first time I'm kind of like a heard this thing that ki he's earning 1 lakh rupees salary. Okay, yeah, like basically if that particular person is earning almost like a 80,000 or 70,000, then probably I would not gonna feel that jealous kind of like a things like that. Okay, yeah, but this is the first time I heard through my ears that this is the guy who is earning 1 lakh rupees salary. So that's why I feel really jealous. Okay, yeah, because this 1 lakh rupees is a kind of like a sort of mark which is I consider myself like ki after you get kind of like a something 5 to 10 year of experience, then you earn that much amount of money. Okay, yeah, like at the beginning you might gonna get 50,000 to 70,000 and things like that. But as early like as soon as that person join that team, that company, he gets 1 lakh rupees salary. So I just feel like that boy, like his starting package is almost like a 12 lakh rupees per year. So yeah, like this is what I was kind of like a thinking. It's a kind of like a something that key I'm not really jealous to him. I'm bitterly jealous regarding about this the first time I heard that kids a 1 lakh rupees salary and things like that. Okay, yeah, so so basically is this saying ki, do you feel like a happy when your competitor is actually earning much more amount of money? Do you feel um like basically accept this thing? Okay, like you mentioned this thing, you don't really have any competitor and things or something like that, but you have it, you are not accepting it, but you have it. Okay, like basically is this thing na ki we are humans. Okay, yeah, and we determine our progress regarding about um influence around us. Yeah, like basically is this thing, that person that I know he's earning this much amount of money and I'm earning this much amount of money. So we are kind of like a something determine the success by the kind of like a something this person is. Yeah, like basically is this thing na ki like accept this thing. Okay, I'm really accepting this thing. Okay, yeah, I consider myself that ki I don't really have any competitor, but yes we have competitor. Okay, yeah, yes we have kind of like a some sort of competitor. And basically what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that ki um I don't know what I was kind of like basically is this thing now I'm kind of like realizing right now by myself that ki I have competitor. Because it's just like when I started recording this artifact and when I asked this question to myself, I never really think that I didn't really have any, like I didn't really think that it's like I have a competitor and things something like that. But I realized that yes, like basically I never really kind of like simply mention that particular person as a kind of like some competitor or things like that. But yes, somewhat something, yes. Because if I'm asking this question that the person that you know or kind of like a person is whatever, okay, yeah, is earning much more amount of money, are you feel happy? I am not happy. Okay, and I'm being really honest, I'm kind of like telling this thing that I'm not really happy. Are you feel inspired? Are you feel really inspired? Like do you feel really inspired that that person is actually earning much more amount of money? So do you feel really inspired? Inspired. Okay, yeah, there is a one logic that I wanted to tell you. Okay, yeah. Um, okay. So basically, is this thing na ki I don't know. It's actually happened in my mind, in my psychological process, and I didn't really knew that it's a kind of like a something inside of me, and it just kind of like a something very very tiny thing, and probably I never really think about that much, but because of this question is actually arise and kind of like a something I'm kind of like a looking at the people and myself, analyzing myself in kind of like a something very very different way. So I'm kind of like a thinking it very broadly right now. Okay, yeah. So let me explain. Okay, yeah. What is actually meaning of inspired? Meaning of inspired means like that ki you are kind of like a inspired of his work and things like that. Okay, let me tell you one thing. um my friend, okay, there is a, it's not my even friend by the way, but still, okay, yeah. In 10th standard, okay, yeah, I was at the Dahad coaching classes, okay, yeah. It's a tuition by the way. Dahad coaching class is a tuition, okay, yeah. This tuition is very different by the way. In this tuition na, ki you are not only go for study, like you are not only go for kind of like a get the tuition things like that. It's also kind of like a something that ki you have to stay there entire night, and you have to do a study over there, okay, yeah. It's a kind of like a very cool concept that the people who are like the students or the child who are not kind of like a some study in their home, the Dahad coaching classes is kind of like a provided a strict environment where the students have to be kind of like a study over there. Oh yeah, if they don't, then probably the teacher would kind of like a something that ki do some sort of like a harsh thing वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह, okay, yeah, because parents are bitly mellow, so yeah, but these tuition classes are kind of a little bit harsh, okay, yeah. They are kind of like a shouted, they are doing some sort of chhadi. What's a chhadi? Chhadi is a kind of like a some sort of punishment, okay, yeah. So my parents are kind of like a something took me to into that Dahad coaching classes, okay, yeah. And in the Dahad coaching classes, I usually go at night. Like I usually go during the day for tuition, and during the night I kind of like a sleep over there, and and also I do study over there too. Okay, yeah, Dahad coaching classes. Now the problem is that okay, yeah, no, not problem, okay, yeah, like I usually go and I usually do some sort of study and things, something like that, okay, yeah. By the way, it didn't really work out for me because of that he, yes, kind of like a somebody from looking at point of perspective, I was kind of like a putting the book in front of my face and try to pretend that I'm kind of like a reading and things like that, but I don't know. Yeah, like basically forceful study is never really no, it never really my kind of like a thing. But like at that time I was child. Okay, I don't know what I was kind of like a something this and that my parents are actually put me over there, and I thought that ki this might be kind of like a something work and things like that. So yeah. So in that particular Dad classes, coaching classes, there is a friend named Sashim Wagmare. Okay, yeah. Sashim Wagmare is a really very smart person regarding about studies. Okay, he is very talented. He always get very good grades. Okay, yeah. Like basically he's a topper. Okay, he's a very topper by the way. By the way, this Sashim guy is not from my school. He is actually from my tuition. Okay, yeah. And also the Sashim Wagmare is also kind of like a somebody person that my friend Vishal is like in my like Vishal is kind of like a somebody study in different school. Okay, he is actually study in a New English school. I was studying a Rashtrasana Tukuduji Maharaj Vidyalaya. Okay, yeah. So basically, what is actually happened that ki Vishal also knows Sashim Wagmare, and I also know Sashim Wagmare. Vishal knows Sashim Wagmare through his school. I know Sashim Wagmare through my tuition, like at the hard tuition. Okay, yeah. So what is actually happened that ki it's actually like a very years ago. Okay, yeah. In 2000, maybe 2015 or 16 maybe, yeah, that ki Vishal kind of like a somebody mentioned that ki the Sashim is kind of like a somebody doing a master in US. Okay, United States. Okay, it means he is actually going to the America. And when he mentioned that ki Sashim is actually going to America, do I feel jealous? No, I don't really feel really jealous, but I feel something that ki yeah, I do feel jealous. Yeah, I'm actually accepting this thing that ki yes, I do feel little bit of jealous. Okay, I forgot the like basically, okay, yeah, what I was kind of like talking, yeah, I was talking about that ki jealous. Yeah, this actually happened before I got a job. This actually happened before Vishal got a job. This is actually happened in 2016 maybe. I'm not really sure 16, 17, but I'm not really sure. Yeah, but maybe I was kind of like doing a job over there. I'm not really sure when this actually happened, but it actually happened maybe 2015, 16, 17 on that time maybe. Yeah. So so this Sachin Wagmare is actually kind of like a went to US, went to America for further study. Okay, yeah, and I did feel jealous. I did feel jealous. Okay, yeah. uh, then what exactly happened that he at that time I was kind of like doing the I was kind of like doing the artifact at that time. Okay, yeah. And I don't know, but I did mention this thing in a previous artifact. Like I don't know, I mention this thing or not? I'm not really sure. But yeah, but there is a one thing that I ask question to myself. Okay, yeah, that why are you jealous regarding about this progress? Like he is actually going to US, so why are you kind of like jealous and things like that? You just have to know that why this person is actually went so ahead of you. You just have to look that what is actually reason. Like basically is this thing na ki you just have to think that this person is actually went to US is because of whatever the reason na. Like he study really good, what kind of like a study he did, what kind of like a courses he did, what kind of like assembly is this thing, what like basically look at the kind of like assembly points that why that particular person went to US. Don't really think that that person went to US. Think that what kind of like assembly factor responsible for that that person went to US. What kind of like assembly quality credibility that that person has, that makes it that person went to US. Look at that point. Okay, yeah. So I was kind of like assembly looking at that point, like why the Sachin Wagmare went to US and things and something like that. Okay, so basically I realized that he is a smart kid. Okay, he is a very talented topper since the school. So yeah, he's really good on that. Another thing is that he is also really good in communication too. Okay, yeah, because the way that he communicate. And by the way, like basically at that time, my age and Sachin Wagmare's age is like equivalent, is almost like maybe at that time my age was almost like a 19. His age is almost like maybe 19. Okay, yeah, 18, 19 years. And at that time his communication was really good because when he asked some sort of questions to a teacher, he asked those questions in English at that time at the age of 19, like a 18 or 19. Okay, so probably is this thing he has a really good communication skill. One thing. Another thing is that he's really good talented and he's really topper since the beginning. Okay, another thing is that he is also rich too. Yeah, I don't know, is it he rich or not, but somewhat like basically if you want to go to the US, then probably you need talent as well as money too, because yeah, it's like a scholarship and things or something like that. Yeah, so he's also rich too. Another thing is that he cracked the GRE exam. Okay, what's the GRE exam? I'm not really sure. Maybe like at this time this exam is kind of like a very different, maybe they kind of like consider as a very different name. But okay, let me tell you one thing regarding about this exam. Okay, yeah. So what exactly is this thing na ki after you complete your graduation in India, okay, yeah, after you complete your graduation in India, you have like you are kind of like decided that you wanted to pursue your master in US or any kind of like country. Master means like that post graduation. Okay, or kind of like a master in that particular field or things like that. So basically is this thing na ki you can't go directly. Okay, yeah. Okay, so there is a kind of like some particular visa required, a student visa required. Okay, for the student visa you need to be kind of like a crack a particular examination, a GRE examination. In that particular GRE examination, they are kind of like a something kind of like a somebody find out that you are kind of like a somebody right fit for the US, because can you kind of like speak English well? Okay, yeah. Can you kind of like interact people with really well or not? Okay, yeah. Also do you already complete the admission process in university in US, or do you have a kind of like a fund or money or things like that? These are kind of like a very essential thing for surviving in US. Because of that, if you went to directly from India to US or any other kind of like a country, it's a like a blending in that particular country is bit little bit difficult because the language barrier and things and something like that. So these are kind of like a assembly examination is actually happened for kind of like a student. So if they wanted to do kind of like a sorry masteries in their field of studies in other another country, so they have to do follow this procedure and things like that. Okay, yeah. By the way, I'm actually talking about in Indian point of perspective. Okay, yeah. Right now maybe methods may be different or kind of like assembly, but every country has do the same thing. Okay, yeah, they have kind of like assembly do the proper examination, scholarship, everything, like basically government are verified in every possible way that ki that person would not be kind of like a some person that kind of like a somebody that ki lost and didn't really know or kind of like a somebody. Yeah, it's like basically you know, if you went to another country you don't really have any a person, you don't really have any kind of like a somebody that ki friends and families and things like that. You are kind of like completely alone in that kind of like a somebody random stranger of people who don't really know you, don't really look like you. It's a very different thing. Okay, so this kind of like somebody examination actually happen, whatever, it's a very different game. Okay, yeah, accept this thing ki do you feel really jealous on that time when Sashib Wagmare went to US? Do you feel that way? Do you jealous? Yeah, I did feel jealous. Okay, yeah, but I inspired from him. Okay, yeah, like basically the I inspired from him that ki what kind of like a he did for good in his life that makes him kind of like a went to US. So I was kind of like a looking at him in very different way. Okay, kind of like a somebody very inspired point of perspective. Okay, yeah, and this is might be kind of like something very essential in my future life too, because of that ki there are so many people will gonna kind of like somebody earn so much amount of money is because of some sort of skills they generated. Okay, yeah, and I have to be learn that skill. I have to be kind of like a something know that skills or kind of like a upgrade myself regarding about that particular field of knowledge and things like that. Okay, yeah, so basically is this thing na ki if there is a kind of like a only person who is kind of like a something I don't really consider as a kind of like a competitor or things like that. Okay, yeah, but if that particular person is actually earning much more amount of money, do I feel jealous? Yes. Do I feel happy? Not. Do I feel inspired? Yes, I do feel inspired. I do feel kind of like a somebody. I just kind of like a look at from every point of perspective that key what that person did in his life that makes that he is earning that much amount of money or things or something like that. So yeah, I did feel kind of like somebody inspired. Okay, yeah, and do you feel positive? Positive, what's a positive? A positive means like that ki how do you look at that thing, like do you feel positive? Do you feel positive? What's a positive word here? A positive means like that ki like positive, like basically he went to US. So do you feel positive? No, I don't feel positive because I'm jealous na. So like like dude, you are like okay, don't kind of like a think me in kind of like a somebody very wrong way, dude. Yes, I feel jealous. Okay, yeah, jealous in kind of like a some perspective that ki why that particular person is actually earn that much amount of money or why that particular person is actually went so ahead in his life regarding about the career and growth and things like that. So I did accept that I jealous, one thing. Another thing is that ki, do I feel inspired? Yes, I do feel really inspired because I wanted to know how that particular person is actually went that much amount of earning money and things something like that. So I wanted to know what kind of like a somebody technical skills and knowledge that he has and things like that, so that I would kind of like somebody prepared myself in that into that particular knowledge and things like that. Do you feel positive? What's a positive? A positive means like that ki like the friend of your is actually went to US. Okay, yeah, and like it's not actually adding any kind of like some value in your life or nothing really at all, but he went to US now. He went to US and kind of like a something he kind of like did something really good in his life, so that's why you feel really positive towards him. No. Do you feel negative? No either. Yeah, it's not even positive, it's not even kind of like a something negative, it's like it's I don't know, it's something in between, maybe, probably. Okay, yeah. Like basically, do you want that that person doesn't really have to go to US, or no, nothing like, I don't want to think that he doesn't really have to go to the US and things like that. No, like it's not like a, I'm not kind of like a somebody looking at kind of like a somebody in very negative point of perspective that he like like basically he shouldn't supposed to go to the US and think, no, I didn't really think in that way. No, it's not. I no, but it's not the positive either too. It's like basically you are kind of like a someone accepting what's the positive over here. Oh yeah, let's just imagine. Okay, yeah, that he my son is actually kind of like a somebody got the scholarship and he went to Germany for further studies. Do I feel positive? Yes, I do feel positive because he is my son and his progress is kind of like a giving me some sort of positiveness, so yeah, that is good. Okay, yeah, but I'm not his father. Okay, yeah. So, so it's not the positive, but it's not negative either too. It's a kind of like a something, there is nothing really at all. Yes, I do feel jealous, but I do feel kind of like a something inspired, but positive, it's nah, nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. So do you consider that ki those are people are competitor? Like you actually mentioned that ki you don't really have any competitor, and like are those people are competitor? Like basically is this thing you are kind of like a somebody looking at the definition of competitor is very the wrong way. Like a competitor means like that you are thinking that you are playing a game and you are playing against each other, so that's a competitor. Yeah, that's a competitor, yeah, but in real life the game is not really played in that way. Okay, yeah, it's a very different kind of like a something structure and things or something like that, and there are multiple factors are responsible for over there thing. So it's not just kind of like a something like the kind of like a something competitor and things like that. So do you accept that do you have a competitor? Yes. Do you accept that in the future you will gonna have a competitor? Yeah, because I think that because I have this kind of like a something thought process, I might have kind of like a something competitor. I do feel like that I will gonna have a competitor, but it's for the good purpose, for kind of like a something that kind of like a something improve myself and things like that. And basically having a competitor, having little bit of jealousy regarding about people is kind of like a something good thing, na? It's kind of like a pull you towards the growth, pull you towards the kind of like a somebody achieving something really good and great. Okay, yeah. So I don't really consider that being jealous is a wrong thing, or being kind of like a something like having kind of like a competitor is a wrong thing. So no, yeah. By the way, these questions are kind of like a something very much self-realization. I never really thought that this kind of like a something question might be kind of like a something like these kind of like a something questions are kind of like analyzing me in very very different perspective, and kind of like a something in just they are kind of like a showing me the world in very different way that I never really looked that way. But by the way, the people who am I kind of like a feel little bit of jealous, they are kind of like added so much value inside of me. Yes, I do feel little bit of jealous to them, but they are really good person and they kind of like added kind of like a simply value that how do I supposed to make the person as good as those person. So being jealous or being having a competitor, I think it's a really good thing to have. This is it, this end, and thank you.